And today, county leaders held a first ever virtual assembly for students all across San Diego, warning them of the dangers of fentanyl.
It comes as the county is seeing a dramatic spike in fentanyl-related deaths. Some big-name athletes took part in the presentation, including Padres star Joe Musgrove and retired NBA player Chris Herren. News 8's Kelly Hessedall joins us live with more on the message they brought to students. Kelly?
Yeah, Carlo and Kirsten, the message, the presentation that is, was aimed at reaching students in middle school as well as high school. The district attorney made it clear that kids are finding a way to get a hold of opioids. Now, the keynote speaker, former NBA player Chris Herren, says drugs almost destroyed his life.
Listen, I could have walked in here today and I could have told you how many times I stuck needles in my arms. I could have talked about the times that I was Narcaned and brought back to life and handcuffed. I could talk to you about the pawn shops that all my kids' toys went into. I can tell you what it's like to live with no heat, no lights, with children in active addiction.
And the former NBA player says his struggle with addiction started in high school. His dad was an alcoholic. He watched his mom suffer dealing with it. He says it's important to share his story with kids because he wants to reach them at this crucial time where they can pivot and make other choices. Now, we also heard from Padres star Joe Musgrove in a pre-taped message. He urged students to stay away from drugs and alcohol, to avoid giving in to the pressures around them. This summit, called the SD Needs to Know, is the first of its kind virtual assembly, and it was broadcast to schools throughout the area. According to the district attorney's office, there have been nearly 700 fentanyl-related deaths so far this year, and some of the victims have been as young as 16 years old. The DA says oftentimes kids are taking opioids laced with fentanyl and they don't even realize it. Herren said he hid his addiction from his mom for as long as he could.
That's the scariest thing about drug addiction. Nobody knows who has it. You have no idea how sad and difficult it's going to be for your family to watch you go through it.
And he went on to say that sadly, every audience that he goes before, and he does about 250 talks like this every year, he says every audience he goes before at schools, he knows that there's at least one child in the audience that is suffering with addiction. He says kids know their friends are going through things like this, but they just have a hard time talking to them about it. So he urged them today, have these tough conversations.
Kelly, Chris Herren obviously had a very powerful message for those kids. But what about advice for parents? What did he have to say to them?
Yeah, I mean, he has 3 kids of his own, and he says one of the biggest mistakes he thinks happens is sort of the way we talk to kids about drugs. If you find out your child has done drugs, the first question is always, who gave it to you? How did you get it? And he says the first question you should be asking them is, why did you do it? He says that is the question. If you get the answer to that, you can really break the cycle.
Yeah, you got to ask those tough questions. Thank you, Kelly.